Bhutan is like no other country I've ever visited. As a Wander Refugee Adventures, I got the chance to travel around the country to explore monasteries, fortresses, temples, the food, traditions, even the nightlife, and with that, develop a deeper understanding of the culture. In combination with a proper 4-day trekking adventure in the Himalayas along the Druk Path, Bhutan simply blew me away. So, let me show you why.
Now, Bhutan is not really well known to all the people around the world because it's a small country located between the two giant countries. We have China in the north and then we have India in the south. The population of Bhutan is only around 700,000.
Because of its location in the eastern Himalayas, it is quite a challenge to get there. Bhutan has only one international airport, which is located in Paro, and only served by the two national carriers Bhutan Airlines and Druk Air. Therefore, I first had to fly to Delhi in India with a 7-hour layover, before I could catch the early morning flight with Druk Air via Nepal to Paro Airport, which is considered one of the most dangerous airports in the world, where only 15 certified pilots are allowed to land due to its location in a deep valley at an elevation of 2,200 meters. At the same time, this location makes up for an impressive approach.
And we have arrived, and this was by far the most majestic approach I've ever had. And look at this terminal building. Bhutan, here we go.
But most people who consider visiting Bhutan don't even get to this point because they're simply put off by the visa fee without looking into the details of it. In order to reduce environmental impact of tourists on Bhutan's unique and virtually unspoiled landscape and culture, the country decided to focus on the concept of high-value, low-impact tourism, which results in a $250 daily fee in high season. But this fee includes your accommodation in a hotel, all meals, a guide, entrance fees, and all transport within the country. On top of that, 35% of the money goes to fund free healthcare, free education, poverty relief, and infrastructure. This way, you are directly supporting the local people. In order to ensure responsible travel, visiting Bhutan is only possible within a tour. In case of G Adventures, who works with local partners, this means that the visa fee is already included in the tour price, and the whole visa application and organization is taken care of for you.
Good morning from the mountains of Bhutan. After a beautiful arrival yesterday and meeting the group, it is today our first full day here in the area of Paro, and we're now up on almost 4,000 meters on the Chelela Pass. Look at these mountains, and this is the right time to actually introduce you to our Chief Experience Officer, Fab.
Hello everyone, Champolexo and Kususampola.
So he will be our guide on this tour, and he will provide us with a lot of background information during that trip. And today we're actually right next to the valley where he is from. That's the Ha Valley, and this is why we call him Haba. And we're hiking next to the valley because we do a little 1-hour trek, right?
1 hour hike towards the Kela Gemba, which is a nunnery. It's a monastery for the nuns, and there are about 120 nuns studying in that monastery. And the hike is more or less about 1 hour hike.
Little acclimatization hike for the trek, which is about to start tomorrow.
Yes.
So let's do this. Oh, and by the way, there's another person on this trek you might remember. It's Larry. We've done Kilimanjaro together.
Woo! After we climbed Kilimanjaro, I suggested to him the next time he was going on an excursion to let me know. Steve contacted me and said he was going to Bhutan, and I said, I'm in.
Hi, Steve.
After 1.5 hours of hiking, we made it. Here is the nunnery. It's actually hugging the rock over there, and all the houses here are right next to the cliff. Such a stunning location.
Hiragompa was established as a meditation site in the 9th century and is now reputedly the oldest nunnery in Bhutan. The nuns pursue higher Buddhist college studies in a series of nunnery buildings that are pressed dramatically against the cliffs.
So it begins, you can already hear it in the back. These are the horses and the mules which will take our whole camping gear. They're getting packed up. And then we're starting onto the Druk Path trek, which will take about 4 days. We'll cover a distance of about 60 kilometers, go up to an altitude of 4,300 meters. This is the highest altitude. All right, let's do this. So let me tell you a little bit about the trek today. We will be covering about 14 kilometers, and we start on 2,300 meters and we'll go up to 3,800 meters. This means we will cover 1,500 meters in altitude, which is quite something for one day. So we're off to a tough start, but it's beautiful. Now we're hiking through the forest, and later on we'll get out of the forest, and I hope to get some cool views. We will visit a little fortress on the way, and this fortress is actually overlooking the Paro Valley. So I'm really excited for that.
Bhutan, being a mountainous country, almost about 72% of our land is green. When it comes to the trees, it is more important for us. We have no cutting of green trees. In case if a forest gets destroyed by a fire, but we still replant trees to make it green.
Sun is out. Looks like we made it to the Yelejong. This is this fortress up there on 3,400 meters. It is lunchtime, and now the picnic spot is being set up, and we're gonna eat over there. Time has come where we leave the forest and we can actually see around us all those glorious mountains. We're actually hiking towards the really big mountains of the Himalayas. Oh, this is just beautiful. The sun came out and the panoramic views all around us. This is what I came for. It's amazing.
The campsite that you're seeing here is called Tsokam, and the meaning of Tsokam is a dry lake. It used to be a lake here, so they believe that the lake from here has moved. I mean, the protector of lake has decided to move from here, so that's why it's called Tsokam, means like dry lake. And if you look straight behind, like just below the snow-capped mountains, there are a few the green tents you can see. That's called Simkotra. That is where we are going to have the second night. And next day we will be walking to the right side of these mountains. All the way behind that, you see a small top with the snow. Behind that will be our camp, third camp.
So, here we are. That's my tent. That's the mountain. That's the dining tent. That's Larry over there, going for the tea. He deserved it. morning, it is day number 2 on the Druk Path trek. We're now leaving the camp, we're leaving Chokam and we're going up to Simkotra Lake today. So today's stretch takes us into those snow-capped mountains. We're going up to Simkotra Lake. First we go down for 2 hours to Naritang, we cross a river, and then we go 2 hours up again to Kwenitso, which is also a lake, and from there it is 1.5 hours to our campsite at Simkotra. Altogether about 11 kilometers, so almost the same like yesterday, but we don't have as much of a climb as yesterday. The trail conditions today was raining all night. We're more sliding down the hill than we are hiking down. Alright, 1.5 hours done, we're down at the river. That was quite something, huh?
That was quite the mud fest, really.
2 hours later, we're up here at the lake, and this is our lunch spot. Picturesque. And we're almost at camp. This is our camp from last night, over there. Then we went all the way over here, came over that ridge, and now last part down here, heading to Simkotra Lake, and next to that is our camp over there. Now that we arrived at our campsite at the Simkotra Lake, it's time to show you around a little bit. So first of all, we have here the personal tents. This is where all the participants are sleeping. Then we have a toilet tent being set up over there. Our mess tent. This is where we have breakfast and dinner. And then over there, this is the kitchen tent. So let me first show you our personal tents. These are 2-person tents, and I got the luxury to stay alone in one. Let's have a look inside. So when you arrive, you already have your mattress in there, a little blanket, and even a pillow. These are our duffel bags. This is where all of our stuff is, which goes onto the horses. And that's my personal bag. This is the bag I carried around. So let's see where the magic is happening. This is the kitchen tent. This is where all of our meals get prepared. This is who's sitting there over there on this throne in the back. Just getting warm in there, huh? Alright, so here we have the hot waters being prepared over there. Today we're having popcorn. Popcorn, okay?
Tea.
And here we have the tea. Is it ginger tea?
No, it's milk tea.
Milk tea.
Masala tea.
Nice. Good morning, it is day number 3 on the Druk Path and we are greeted with sunshine and a view which is just incredible. Look at that. Down here is our campsite. Over there, the Himalayas. We're camping right next to the lake and this is where we also have breakfast. See that red table over there? This is our breakfast spot. So far the group, is doing so-so. Unfortunately Larry had to leave the group because he had too much pain, too much altitude sickness syndromes which prevented him from going further. So he went back, he went actually to where we will be arriving, to Thimphu. And then we have 2 or 3 more people in the group who are really struggling but try to fight their way through. For myself, I did alright the last 2 days. And right now I can also feel a little bit of syndromes of high altitude sickness. I have a headache and a funny stomach, but I think because I know that already from Kilimanjaro, I can fight my way through that, and it's all about today and the weather looks just incredible. Our little breakfast hike rewards us with magnificent views to the surrounding mountains, including Mount Jomulhari over there, which is, with 7,300 meters, Bhutan's second highest mountain. Today is the day we are actually going to the highest point of our trek. It's over there, Lavana. We officially made it to the highest point of the hike. 4,200 meters.
Yes!
Done!
The mountains and trees that we have in the country, we not only look at them as mountain or tree, we also respect the mountains that we have because we believe that every mountain has its own protectors.
We're almost done. Down there is Thimphu, and you can actually already see also our campsite. It's where we sleep for the night. And then tomorrow we head into the capital of Bhutan.
The last part of the trek on that day was quite challenging, as my altitude sickness got worse and worse by the end of the day. So I finished day 3 on the Druk Path by passing out in my tent while a blizzard hit the camp. Still affected by the high altitude sickness, we headed down, where I regained energy the more we got to lower altitude, until we finally reached the trailhead.
After waking up in the snow, we now finally made it down to the trailhead. I'm looking forward to a nice hotel room and a shower. After 4 days of trekking, it's really nice to be in a hotel again. This will be our home for our time here in Thimphu. It's 8 o'clock in the capital of Bhutan, and we're out on the hunt for beer and good times on Good Friday.
Rock and roll, Good Friday and Easter.
So let's see what we can find.
Yeah.
Alright, we found the spot. It's obviously it. Go crazy. The zone. Food, pub, cafe, karaoke and fun. Cheers!
Yeah.
Mojo! Mojo! Smoke underwater in Bhutan.
What makes Bhutan unique is the strong culture that has been carried on from generation to generation, and still people practice the same culture and traditions.
Today we're exploring the sites of Thimphu in order to gain a deeper understanding of the life and culture of Bhutan, and we're starting off with the Chorten, which is a big stupa and one of the most prominent religious structures here in the capital of Bhutan.
This memorial stupa was built in 1974 to honor the third king of Bhutan, Jigme Dorji Wangchuk, and is located right in the heart of the capital.
What is also interesting to see is that everything works clockwise. So, for example, the prayer wheels are turned clockwise and people are also walking clockwise around the stupa here. Next up is the world's largest seated Buddha, which is overlooking Thimphu and a great place to see the city from above.
Now the religion in Bhutan is Buddhism. What we practice is called Mahayana. The Mahayana is not just considered as a Buddhism or a religion. Every people in Bhutan take it as a philosophy of their everyday life. So we believe that whatever you do in your present life will be the result of your next life, which is the future. So that is why Mahayana that is being practiced all over the country in Bhutan is not just about oneself. It is all about thinking as a general for everyone, not just human but also for the animals. So it is really a big thing that we practice in our country.
Now at the archery ground to see how the national sport is being played here.
The national sport that we have in Bhutan is known as archery, and it is one of the most interesting sports once you get to know it, because they not just play it, they drink, they play at the same time. It is symbol for every man in Bhutan that once you play archery, you are considered as kind of like a symbol of a manhood.
Next up is the Arts and Crafts School here in Thimphu.
The arts and crafts of Bhutan that represent the exclusive spirit and identity of the Himalayan kingdom is defined as the art of Sorik Chosum, which means the 13 arts and crafts of Bhutan. The Institute of Sorik Chosum in Thimphu is the premier institution of traditional arts and crafts, set up by the government of Bhutan with the sole objective of preserving the rich culture and tradition of Bhutan and training students in all traditional art forms.
We drove a little bit outside of Thimphu to the Motitang Takin Preserve. This area was once a mini zoo and got converted into a preserve for the national animal, the takin.
Between the animals and people in Bhutan, there's a very strong connection. Because of that strong connection and the belief that we practice in our daily life, we respect every animal because we believe that the only difference between the human and animal is that they cannot talk, whereas we can. So we not just take them as animal, but we also believe that they can be the reincarnation of your families. And that is why we have no killings at all in the country. So whatever meat that we get in the country is all imported from India, from the border at south.
After all the sightseeing, we headed downtown on our own, where we learned that Bhutan is the only country in the world that doesn't have a single traffic light in its capital. And we got to check out a very hip cafe before going for a typical Bhutanese dinner.
Tonight is the night where we are trying typical Bhutanese food, not buffet style, what you usually get when you're traveling on a tour through Bhutan. That is the pork pa. This is basically dried pork curry. Then we have the chili cheese. That is the yak curry. This is potato and cheese. Fried rice, vegetarian. We have momos with cheese, momos with potatoes. That is sagdati, that is spinach cheese. Then we have the puta, which is buckwheat noodles. And we have the jambale. And this all together was about 25 bucks for like 5 people. We couldn't even finish. We probably ate half of the whole banquet.
On the next morning we left Thimphu on a windy road in the direction of Punakha, which is the former capital of the country. Our first stop was the Druk Pass, where 108 memorial shortens or stupas have been built under the patronage of the eldest Queen Mother on an altitude of 3,100 meters, which makes up for an impressive setting in front of the snow-covered Himalayas.
Our way to the fertility temple, which is over there. We drove from Thimphu to the Punakha district. This is what we will be exploring for today.
Phallus paintings in Bhutan are esoteric symbols who are believed to protect and drive away the evil eye. They have their origins in the Chimilakang monastery. This monastery was built in honor of Lama Druk Path Bhutan, who lived in the 15th to 16th century and who was popularly known as the Divine Madman for his unorthodox ways of teaching, which amounted to being bizarre and shocking.
We are now in the former capital Punakha, and we're about to visit the second largest and second oldest Jong, the Punakha Jong.
Now the fortresses that you see in Bhutan is not just one fortress. We have one fortress in every district. In all the 20 districts, we have 20 fortresses. Now these fortresses, which is known as the Dzong in our national language, are the main heritage of the country, because the Dzongs were all built during the 17th centuries to preserve and protect the people from the invaders we had in the past. And it's still being used and preserved very well. But now, most of the dzongs are divided into two sections. So the first half of the dzong will always be the administration, and the second half is used by the monks.
So we're back in Paro, and now we do some sightseeing here. And we're starting, of course, with the Paro Dzong.
The Paro Dzong has its foundations in the 15th century. In 1646, the Dzong was reconsecrated and established as the administrative and monastic center of the western region, and it became known as Thimphu Dzong.
Next up is the Kichu Lakang, which is one of the oldest temples of Bhutan.
The Yovo Temple of Kichu is one of the oldest temples in Bhutan, originally built in the 7th century by the Tibetan Emperor Songtsen Gampo. It is considered to be one of the 108 border taming temples he built. In the 8th century, the temple was visited by Padmasambhava, and it is believed he concealed many spiritual treasures here.
We saved the best for last. Today we're hiking up to the Taktsang Lakang, which is better known as the Tiger's Nest Monastery, one of the most popular sites in all of Bhutan. Up there we go. So the whole trek up and back is about 11 kilometers, and you go up to an elevation of more than 3,000 meters and have an elevation gain of about 900 meters, so it's quite a tough day hike actually. And in between, so halfway up, you have a little tea house where you can make a stop and can enjoy the view and charge up your batteries before the final ascent up to the Tiger's Nest. So we made it halfway up to the tea house, where you already have a really great view to the Tiger's Nest. How's that for a view, Larry?
Oh, that is magnificent. Gorgeous. That's what I came for.
We made it to the spot. Now it's only 750 steps down, and then we head over into the monastery.
The Paro Taktsang complex hangs on a precarious cliff at 3,120 meters and was first built in 1692 around the Taktsang Senge Samdup cave, where Guru Padmasambhava is said to have meditated for 3 years, 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 days and 3 hours in the 8th century. Padmasambhava is credited with introducing Buddhism to Bhutan and is the tutelary deity of the country. Today, Paro Taktsang is the best known of the 13 Taktsang or tiger layer caves in which he meditated. We couldn't have picked a better spot to finish this trip through the fascinating kingdom of the Thunder Dragon.
Bhutan is an amazing country, unbelievable. The temples, the fortresses, the Himalayas in the background, snow covered. The people in particular, beautiful, beautiful people, very kind, very helpful. Gorgeous, gorgeous country.
We're in Mojo Park in Thimphu, Bhutan, listening to acoustic classics.
No, we're listening to local punk.
Local punk.
This is what local punk